Hi, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why change is really scary, but absolutely necessary for artists. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí, creator of The Art of Freedom for Conscious Living and Masterful Artistry. I'm a certified Alexander Technique teacher as well as a professional violinist, and I'm the creator of, as I said, The Art of Freedom, and I run the Facebook group called the Mind, Body, Spirit Tribe for Creative Souls, which I invite you to join if you're not a member yet. So let's just dive right into the topic, and if you're here, would love it if you would send me some hearts, send me some emojis, send me a hello, I'm here. Let me know you're here and we can have a bit of a conversation. I'd really love to be able to connect with you. Hello, Angel, I'm really glad you're here. Hope things are going well for you. So I have some big news actually, which I'm going to talk about towards the end of this video. And I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit short today, but the first news is that this is the last Thursday live video that I'm going to be doing because I am switching over to doing live videos in my Facebook group on Mondays at noon. That's the Mind, Body, Spirit Tribe for Creative Souls. And I'm very, very excited about that. So I hope you'll come over there and join me for that on Mondays. Now let's dive into our topic. So why is change so scary? I mean, there are endless reasons, but it is scary to be an artist for, well, first of all, it's scary to be an artist because you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to somehow take a chance and expose the truth of who you are and your creative self and run the risk of having people reject you because of it or because of how you express yourself, how you put yourself out there. And you can't please everybody all the time. So it's scary just to be an artist and do your stuff from your heart fearlessly. But there are a couple of reasons why change in particular is scary. The first one is that because, well, how do I put this? What we know, what's familiar, what we're used to doing is always going to feel right. That's just the way the brain works. You know, you do something many times, you build up the neural connections in your brain, and it's like you get into a groove and you know how to do something and you do it, you repeat it, and you get good at it, even if that thing is not really good for you. But if you want to grow and change and evolve and become a better artist, you need to be able to do something different. You need to be brave enough and courageous enough to say no to the old and open up to the unknown. Artwork in itself, it's like the really great artwork is spontaneous and it's free and you don't really know exactly what it's going to be until you're actually in the process of creating it. Sure, you can have a framework, you can have a structure to begin with, but within the structure, when you are in the zone and you're really open to the creative spirit coming through you, you don't know exactly where it's going to go. And that can be really scary because you're not going down a well-worn path in your brain, a well-worn neural chain of reactions. You're kind of saying, no, I'm not going to do the old thing. I'm going to find a new and different way to do this thing. And I don't know what it is yet, but let's find out. So that's the first reason really why change feels scary. It's because the familiar feels right and the unfamiliar and the unknown is just not going to feel right because you don't have those neural connections built up yet in your brain. That's why repetition is important. And with repetition, you get better at something and it becomes easier and it becomes more familiar. But that also, you run the risk of things becoming stale also, and your artwork not being fresh and exciting and new because you're kind of doing it the same old way that you've always done it. That's not conducive to really great creative expression and artistry. The other reason that I'm going to share today about why it's scary to change is that when you are growing, when you're evolving as a person, as an artist, you kind of have to go against your subconscious programming. What I mean by that is that if you were brought up to believe a certain thing about yourself, and you have a certain set point of self-worth or belief or trust in yourself, and maybe you never quite think that you are good enough unless you kind of stay within that framework. And then you realize, well, I want to raise my standard. I want to get better. I want to grow. I want to be more of who I am and be able to share and express more of who I am. That's what growth is. But that's can be terrifying because you're kind of breaking out of the conditioning that you were set up with from the time you were born, depending on your environment, and also, how you took those beliefs about yourself in and you took them to be true. When you start questioning them, that's scary. You're going against the subconscious, and the subconscious really just wants to keep you safe. The subconscious says, oh no, don't think that way because that might be dangerous. Don't go in that direction. We're supposed to stay at this level. Subconscious is great at keeping you small and safe. But you can't play it safe when you're an artist. Not really. You've got to take those risks, and it's scary. It's scary to grow and become more of who you are, but gosh, it's really, really, really worth it. I'm telling you. I mean, you might make mistakes. You may fall flat on your face. You may create a work of art that is really not so good, and it's not so good, but at least you tried. And you stretched your limits by doing it and taking that risk. And that can never be a failure. If you think this way, that I'm doing something I believe in and I'm growing, no matter what happens, no matter what the result is, you will always be successful because you'll be able to learn from it. Being afraid of other people's reactions is a big thing for a lot of people. And it really does keep artists smaller than they really could be. Imagine right now, does this make sense? By the way, I would love to get your feedback. Does any of this resonate to you who are watching here? And if you're watching the replay, does this make sense to you as well? Have you had these experiences where you kind of are preventing yourself from taking the risk? I'll give you a personal example. I have wanted to improvise on the violin for many, many, many years, but it just was like a wall for me, like, oh no, I can't do that. But really it was, I can't do that because I don't want to expose how bad it might be, right? So I kept myself from doing it, believing that I was keeping myself safe, when actually I was stunting my growth. And finally, somehow, miraculously, I decided to just do it anyway. A few weeks ago, and I'm really delighted because I'm finding a whole new world is opening up to me artistically that I really had no idea was there for me. That's the thing. You can't know what you don't know already until you take the risk to leave behind something old and go against that programming. But yeah, it's scary. Now, it's absolutely necessary to grow and take these risks to make great art because, as I alluded to before, the greatest art, I believe, happens in the moment. And there's an inspiration that happens. And I love this idea of a creative muse. Whatever you want to think it is, if you believe in spirit or not, it doesn't really matter. It's an idea that I find very useful and practical, and maybe it's true that we have a creative muse that's trying to express itself through us. Who knows? I think it's a useful idea because if there is a creative idea that wants to come through us, all we have to do is actually take that chance and get out of the way, get our thinking habit mind out of the way so that we're making space for that inspiration to come through us. That's when the spark of true creativity can happen. Whether you're a musician, a painter, writer, dancer, actor, it doesn't matter what your artistry is. It's always the same kind of process that happens where there's an inspiration that comes, and when you open yourself up to it, it can come and move through you, and then it can inspire both you and the people out there who are exposed to your expression. So hopefully this was interesting. I see Angel says, yes, it makes sense. And yeah, I'd love your feedback on this. I'm going to share this video in a moment to my Facebook group, and we can have a discussion over there following this. I'll put a post in there so we can follow up. And if you're not a member of the Facebook group yet, it's called the Mind, Body, Spirit Tribe for Creative Souls. And that's most of us, I think. We all have a creative soul that's just dying to express itself freely. Right? Right? Yeah, give me some thumbs up. All right. Thank you so much for being here. If you missed the beginning, this is the last live video that I'm doing on Thursdays from my page. But I am starting a new series that will be on Mondays at noon Eastern in my Facebook group. So come on over there and mark your calendar. I'm excited about this new evolution of what I'm doing here on Facebook. So have a great day and think about what I shared, and then share your thoughts in the tribe. All right. Lots of love to all of you. Have fun creating your art. And it's funny. There's the button. It's like I couldn't see the button to turn it off. Bye. Take care.